Hello, my name is Cindy Heyer Carroll. I live in Palo Alto, California, and I grew up here in California. I first started researching my family history about 2 years ago, and I learned of enslavers on my mother's side. My family genealogists had known about this, but hadn't shared that information because, as they put it, we didn't like to think about that. Looking through their documents, the earliest enslaver that I found so far is a man named Joel Dyer, my 6 times great grandfather, born 1754, died 1825. The Dyers first came to North Carolina in the 1680s as indentured servants who were eventually granted their freedom within their own lifetimes. Joel Dyer, even though he was the grandson of indentured servants, moved to Tennessee and switched roles in the caste system and enslaved people kidnapped from Africa. In his will of 1825, I found the names of 5 people that he enslaved at the time of his death. Their names were Jim, Stokely, Carter, Jack, and George. Jim was an adult. Stokely, Carter, Jack, and George were children. When I learned this, when I let it in, I'm overwhelmed. I feel stricken with shame, stricken with grief. My heart breaks. My heart shrinks. I don't want to admit it. And at the same time, simultaneously, I feel grateful to the ancestors who gave me life. Because they lived, I'm here today. And I feel grateful to Jim, Stokely, Carter, Jack, and George. Because they lived, our nation is here today. I owe them a profound debt of life and nation. And for those who were enslaved, a profound debt of acknowledgement, apology, and reparation. And I feel determination to make good on those debts. That's what I discovered on my mother's side. On my father's side, Ashkenazi Jews who immigrated after slavery was abolished, but they wore cotton clothing, drank coffee, had the opportunity to smoke cigarettes, eat food sweetened with sugar, all made affordable because of slavery and the Jim Crow system in the aftermath of slavery. They, all of my ancestors on both sides, and I participated in and benefited from the system that favors white people in this country. So, how do I turn this system around or help turn it around? I owe it to them, my ancestors, who gave me life and country. Joel Dyer, Jim, Stokely, Carter, Jack, and George, and countless, countless others, to look at the truth of slavery and its aftermath, and to tell an accurate history instead of perpetuating myths. And where I am right now in this lifelong journey, well, there's the inner work of admitting that I am racist. I am, full stop. I am. I make racist assumptions. I assume privilege. sometimes unconsciously, I've started on the journey of awareness. But what I'm most aware of is I have a long, long way to go. There's also the outer work, the activist work in my community. I do small things like add my warm body to the Black Lives Matter marches in my area. I support Black authors in my little free library as small steps towards healing. I guess I'm most active in my Coming to the Table chapter and in the Poor People's Campaign, which organizes for economic justice, and in Get Out the Vote campaigns, because no one does this kind of work alone. So I join organizations like that. And reparations, pushing both local and national governments to make reparations, and looking for ways that I can make reparative donations individually, and listening to and learning from the members of the Black community in my area about where this is most effective. And what I find the most challenging of all these efforts is in everyday conversations, just everyday conversations, breaking the silence, speaking the truth. That's when I feel the most vulnerable. But I'm doing that more these days. For example, last Thanksgiving, I told my extended family about Jim, Stokely, Carter, Jack, and George, and asked to include them in our gratitude prayer before eating. Each time I do something like that, step beyond my comfort zone, it's practice for speaking out stronger next time, clearer, and hopefully more skillfully next time. I do find a lot of inspiration and courage in standing in solidarity with you all on this website. I cherish the opportunity to share these stories together, speaking out and listening deeply, drop by drop to turn a mill. So thank you for listening to the story of my efforts so far.